The Diocese of Toowoomba Catholic Schools takes into account 31 school sites plus one office. We have about 1,500 employees. The closest school to our office in Toowoomba is just across the road, and the one that's furthest away is Quilpie, which is about 10 hours or thereabouts drive west. So we cover roughly the area the size of Victoria. The Executive Director went on a listening tour of all of our schools last year, took his executive leadership team with him, virtually asking people on the ground what was working, what wasn't working, what we were doing well, what we could do better. And one of the things that certainly came out was staff wellbeing, and I suppose that's where my job as an education officer and wellbeing come about. And we started to look into things that we could put in place. But because we've got the average age of staff in Toowoomba would probably be in the 40s. The average age out west would be in the 20s. So there was going to be no one-size-fits-all program, one-size-fits-all initiative. So we sort of have gone about it a way of looking at different things that other companies have done to see what will work for us. From a personal point of view, I've spent a lot of time looking at good people burning out. People who I would have my kids in their class any day of the week, if we're talking teachers, who are good people, love what they do, but were just exhausted. From a personal point of view, that's what I'd seen. And I think it's a case of there are some things we can't change about the job in terms of new initiatives and things that come in, but I think wellbeing is one thing that we can help. I think our Champions Network is, we've purposely targeted people who we've asked principals not to tap people on the shoulder. We want it the other way around. People who want to put their hand up for it. They have to be intrinsically motivated because there's nothing in it for them financially, but in terms of the training that we've done so far and the people who've put their hands up have just been great people. Love to have a bit of fun, don't hold back, tell us what they think, which is great. And they've then gone out there, but some of the progress we've had just in the 6 months that we've been going with a Champions Network and new people stepping in, we're starting to see results, even if it's just individually. And to me, if you can help one person at one school, it's been worthwhile. And we're starting to see from a whole range, whether we're talking physical well-being, mental well-being, spiritual, social in particular. There's a whole range of things that people are doing at schools, just little things, little 10-degree turns of the head to make a difference, and that's what we're after. I think sometimes what we've found is people lose sight of the big picture. It's the everyday nuts and bolts stuff that gets us down, and I think the champions are a physical presence or a visible presence to show that this is why we're here, this is why we do what we do. Sometimes it's I don't want to call it a dose of reality, but it is. It's like, we're going through a tough time, but we know how to get over that, or we need to celebrate the good things we do, and not just always look at read the news and tell us how bad things are. Actually look at all the great things that we're doing as an organisation, as a school, as an individual teacher, and celebrate that sort of stuff, because 90% of it, 98% of it is great stuff. Yes, and we tend to focus on the 2% negative, whereas the positive stuff is really good. From the office point of view we didn't want it to be tokenism. I think I read somewhere that we didn't want it to be the 3 Fs of well-being: the fitness, the fruit bowl, and the flu shots. We wanted a little bit more to it, and not just structure, but also the structure that they have a say in, the teachers, the teacher aides, people working in the schools who can say, yeah, this doesn't work for me, but this will. Beauty, let's have a look at it, let's get that underway. Help us, I'll get this phrase right, help us help you to help yourself. And I think when you get the right people with the right frame of mind who see that as a way of doing things, sky's the limit. Yeah, it's been really good. I did the practitioner, the Wellness Wise, or the Wellness Designs practitioner course, because for that reason I didn't want it just to be tokenism. Previously I had a little bit of understanding of what wellbeing was, about what I thought teachers, teacher aides, principals, what I thought they would need in schools. But I haven't been based in my own classroom in 10 years, and teaching changes in 10 months, let alone 10 years. So to actually get that structure, to do that training, to find out what other professions are doing, not just schools, helped me to then say, well, okay, and we went on with to do the champions training, so that people could get that same knowledge that I'd managed to get through the training, and see why the way I was thinking and why I was thinking that way, and the office in terms of what we were trying to achieve, so that it wasn't just let's get together and write down a list of ideas and here's some money, go and do it. It was actually putting some meaning behind it. And I think once it's got that meaning behind it and like-minded people understanding that, that's where the goals that we're setting are going to be the ones that we achieve. I purposely went looking for something that wasn't school related, because for 25 years in schools I've been told why we can't do A, B and C because we're a school, because we operate differently. But in my mind, if we are a profession and to be treated that way as professionals, why not look at what other professions do? So Wellness Designs was one that came up. I saw the training there. I liked the idea that it wasn't just a practitioner training and nothing else, and I liked the idea that there was follow-up. And certainly the practitioner training, working with Katrina, and it was really interesting that my training there was people from university. I think there were some nurses there, a whole range of professions, and to actually see what they were doing as well in context. From my point of view, to then go out, the next logical step for me was to say, okay, let's get some believers on the ground from each school where possible, to stand up and get them the same training or similar training and a network, because it's easy for one person to say, Beauty, I can do this in their school, but when they get bogged down, they've got some other people to turn to, and I like that idea. Particularly when we've got 31 schools that, they're all going through the same thing in different and varying ways. If one thing works at a school, share the idea, share the story, share the success, enjoy it and celebrate it. When we do come together, it's as a diocese, so there'll be a training day where you might see 4 or 5 schools together. Even when it may be a case of they've worked at that school or there's a connection, it's really interesting to see. You see people walking, giving each other a hug, and they're from opposite ends of the diocese, and it's just that closeness and whatever else that, if we take it to the next level and actually structure it, there's some great things to be done. Yep. Since the first training, we're now 4 or 5 months down the track, and I still get enthusiastic phone calls from teacher aides out west who, oh Brett, we just did the, we had a social afternoon where we decided to have a fitness trainer come in, or we had a social function, or we signed up for the 10,000 steps, or we're doing, or even today. One of our people from the office who is training as a champion has said she just feels that the atmosphere, people talk to each other, because we're so, it's a big office, but we're never always there at once, and different areas and what have you, but it's that coming together that has the effect. One thing the champions training did for, and I can picture in my mind 3 or 4 people, it was almost a change of mindset. It was, they come to it thinking that they were going to look for an easy fix, that these guys, they'll give us the magic bullet to solve everyone's problems. But they've actually gained the knowledge to say, well, hey, listen, we've got to do this, or we've got to change our mindset, or not try and convert everyone, but slowly and surely that the movement to well-being they now have the knowledge that they can actually take bits and pieces. They don't need to know everything, and they don't need to be the fitness guru, and they don't need to know everything about nutrition or whatever. But one thing they do have is that they have the knowledge to push people in the right direction. So if it's I want to know about fitness. Well, I don't know the first thing about it. Here's 3 avenues you can go down. I don't want to go to a gym. Well, here's something else we can do. Socially, I'm isolated because I'm out west. Okay, well let's get a network going here. I think the champions going back to schools have more answers now than they had before. They had a lot of questions before. They still got questions and always will have, but they've got a lot more answers now, which I think builds their confidence and their well-being as well, which is what we're after. The outcomes have been, and speaking individually with people, we're probably not far enough down the track yet to look from an organisational point of view in terms of dollars or in terms of numbers of sick days and that sort of thing. But at individual schools, what I'm finding is when I visit that school, and I'd hate to say it's the vibe of the thing, but it's you actually walk into a school and you feel more like an insider than an outsider. So I come in as an office person and you feel like part of the furniture. And there'll be something going on, and here's the well-being guy. Did you realise we did this last week? Or we've got a walking group going, or we've got a Facebook group that's sharing stories. And the excitement around that, rather than walking in and saying, oh, this was bad and this happened, and have you heard, not happy about this, not happy about that. I'm actually seeing people sharing and celebrating their success. And that breeds more of it. And if that's a bad thing, then shoot me. Oh no, don't shoot me, that's fine. Yeah, but in terms of, if I leave this role with nothing but that achievement, I don't care about the figures. I don't care about the numbers and the data. If you go out to a school where the staff are happier and you see the kids happier as a result of it, and then the parents are happier as a result of it, can't be a bad thing. No, since doing the practitioner training, I've lost 20 kgs. Wow. I've done 65 consecutive days of 10,000 steps. But no, I'm having a ball. And I think in terms of, it's getting back to why I got into teaching almost 30 years ago. And my enthusiasm, I always said that if I ever got to the stage where I was a cranky old bugger and hated kids, I'd get out of it. And didn't get to that, but I started going down the track. And I think I've got as much, if not more, enthusiasm for what I do now as I had in my first year of teaching, because I'm getting the chance to help others inspire and do good things, and that's not a bad job description. Happy with that.